What's up, friends? Back at it again. This time we have Aurelion Soul middle lane against Zed, the wild assassin with shadows. Anyway, besides being so dramatic, let us get into it. Let's talk about his abilities real quick. His passive, he is constantly followed by 3 damaging stars. You can see them, they look like little comets. His first ability allows him to send out a newborn star, or it looks like a circle, that explodes and it stuns people. People use this ability with his third ability because it gets bigger the faster you travel and it explodes once it passes the outer limit. The outer limit is the distance of where the stars are around your body. His second ability allows him to expand the stars that he has on his passive to do more damage safely. It also pushes it towards the outer limit. So the outer limit, again, is where the stars are at its maximum distance. His third ability allows him to become a moving comment, and he passes terrain and all that stuff. He travels long distances. Super cool. And lastly, his ultimate, where he just fires a laser from his mouth. Does a lot of damage, slows them, and knocks them back. Alright, perfect timing. As you can see, I'm starting to use my second ability. It expanded the stars, which was kind of a mistake. I probably should have started my first ability to stun Zed when he got in my face like this. But, you know, you live, you learn. I had to use my barrier, he used his ignite. And now you can see my second ability is actually coming in handy because I can safely farm without him actually hitting me with melee. He is going to hit level 2 first, which is dangerous for me because he can use his shadows and then his shuriken to take me out. Hopefully he doesn't do that. And thankfully he didn't. I hit level 2, and here I leveled up my first ability. You can see that little spinning galaxy. It explodes and it stuns if it hits Zed. So that probably would have been a better purchase at level 1 when he got up in my face. And thankfully Zed let me grab my honey fruit, and he actually didn't kill me. This gives me a chance to recuperate and understand a little bit more of what I can and can't do with Aurelion Soul. So I'm going to use my first ability, walk towards him, stun him, and use my second ability to make sure I do a lot of damage while he is stunned. That worked out perfectly. He's going to flash, I'm going to flash, auto attack him, make sure he is dead, and with that we are 1-0. You recall, and here you'll see me using my third ability, which is me flying like a little lizard, and my first ability, which gets really, really big. The second I took damage from Nasus, though, I slowed down, and look at all this damage we're doing. Camille, for some reason, left this alone, and we could have probably taken care of that together. But it is what it is, That's how amazing this guy is at roaming. We roamed all the way to top lane, or Baron lane, and the situation is bottom lane, and we came back to our turret, and we lost, not a lot. It wasn't a substantial loss. And as I'm actually getting a nice little stun on Zed, and look at all this damage. It's absolutely bananas how much damage Aurelion Soul can do if you can position yourself enough to where the stars do a lot of damage. And you may have noticed that we are at 2 minutes and 24 seconds, and unfortunately our bottom lane is not having a good time. But I'm having a good time. I'm 2-0. That was my ultimate, that firing my laser kind of moment there. I take a plate, I recall, I come back to middle lane. As you notice, the interface is changing a lot. I'm just messing around with the replay moments just to see what looks nicer. Ashe dead yet again. This is not a good time. That was a heck of an ultimate from Vi. Alistar is actually might have gotten the kill. Oh, that was so close. That's another good stun on Zed. Look at all this damage. I'm just letting the stars do everything at this point. Zed is at bad territory here. He decided to get a little too close for comfort. He is trying to get away from here. Here's my stun. I missed again. My ultimate, look how long distance that was. Sniped. So once I got that kill, I recall back and I see Dragon Link needs my help. So I'm going to activate my third ability and my first ability to get that stun going and make it massive. Alistar gets the hint. He knocks up Jinx. He managed to stun her really nicely. And look how much territory I take over with my second ability. That's a double kill with Seraphine and Jinx out of the way. I am unstoppable. We also alleviate some pressure from Dragon Lane, but Alistar is the playmaker there. Without Alistar, that probably wouldn't have happened. Ashe with the decision to rotate, so that means I am just going to go in on Zed. If he tries to run away, he's going to run into either the turret, which I can take care of him, or Ashe, and he decided to run into Ashe. He wasted his flash. Ashe missed her ultimate. My stun, look how big it's getting, how fast. Zed could not get away from that. So in my head, I'm thinking I need to purchase Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Why? Because of its passive Icy, which, when I use ability damage, it slows the enemy. And my passive, my stars, do magic damage, which means he'll constantly get slowed if I hit him with my stars. So my stun won't matter. I can just harass him like that, which is going to be bananas. Anyway, a hero trying to poke Vi to see if she'll be silly and die to me, but she did not. Instead, I died to Vi and Zed here. They do a fantastic combination here. Vi managed to use her passive on me and then her ultimate, and Zed with his ultimate, he just completely demolished me. Well played for them, and not well played for myself. That's what I get for being cocky. Finally coming back to life, I am taking a look to see what lane needs my help. We see we're trying to secure Dragon, so I'll probably rotate towards Dragon. I see Zed is pushing middle lane, so maybe I can do that instead, keep him busy. He does use his clone to get away from my stun, well played on him, but he's also rotating towards Dragon, which is not a good look for us. We managed to take care of Dragon before they get to us. They are using my third ability to get away from Vi, just in case she wants to attack me. Jax is going in, so I'm saying if you're going in, I'm going to go in too. But he decides to just run away here, and that kind of sucks because I'm going in, and this really sucks. Look how close we were to dying. If Jax had stayed with me, they probably would have died, but that didn't happen, and I died again. So what do we learn from that situation? If Jax attacks, we probably won't go completely in unless he completely commits to it. That'll be tricky, but at the end of the day, I can't trust him. Right? So you have to adjust yourself to the players you're playing with. If you have that Jax in your team and he runs away from you from an easy fight, then he's going to run away from all the fights. That's your assumption. You can make that assumption pretty easily. So what are you going to do? You're going to play safer by not trusting him. So you don't see it in the replay, but in this moment in game, I paused the game a little bit just to read through Aurelion Sol's abilities to make sure I'm understanding them correctly. Here, I did mess up the combination. I feel like what I should do first is when I'm approaching Zed, use my second ability to open up my stars to make sure I do passive damage. When I get close to him, use my first ability to stun him. That way I can do more consistent damage. Kind of like in this situation, I managed to stun him, but I wasted my second ability because my stars didn't hit him at all. As expected, Aurelion Sol does have a bit of a learning curve, so I'm going to try a different approach. Gather up my stun to make sure it's large enough to hit, and then I'll use my stars. I missed my stun, but my stars are doing so much damage that my ultimate executed Zed. It is almost 8 minutes, and we are in a pretty good spot to probably rotate towards Rift Herald, which we should do. Jax and Camille are actually rotating there that way now. I was going to go see if I can gank bottom lane, or Dragon lane, but Jinx is in a decent spot where I can attack them, so I decided to go help out Jax and Camille to get a free Rift Herald. Free because Vi is nowhere to be seen. You saw her just pass through middle lane, so she is none the wiser. With Rift Herald, we see that Nasus is exposed or overextended, so we're going to go ahead and take care of him. I use my stars to zone him towards the bush so I can stun him much easier. And then again, you can see Jax just walking away from a free kill on Nasus. Interestingly enough, I was tanking the turret so they can take care of him, but Jax decides to just not do anything. So that's the second time he did that. So that's not nice of him, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure if he's doing it on purpose or not. Let's assume he's not and just doesn't want to, die, which is fair, right? Better to play safer than to die and not get anything out of it. That Alistar is absolutely bananas. That combination was fantastic. They secured Vi just because he zoned her for so long. Here again is my third and first ability combination. Look how big that stun is. Like, what is that going to do? But again, I used my stars way too early. Like, I missed every single one there. I thankfully managed to zone him away from that, but I took a lot of unnecessary damage just because I mistimed my abilities. Aurelion Sol so far is a pretty cool champion. You can see that the stars themselves can farm pretty freely for you. They're doing 200 damage for each time it hits on that. Camille managed to spawn the Rift Herald a little awkward space. I would rather her do it closer to the turret so I wouldn't have to kill the minions before charging, but, it is what it is. I'm going to go help out Camille. What I thought was going to happen was that the Rift Herald would take care of the turret and we would just jump on Nasus. That didn't happen because Camille went the other way, so this means that I am chasing very greedily in this situation. Nasus turned back because he knows that Vi and Zed are going to come back him up, so I died unnecessarily. That's totally on me. Coming back to life, I go straight towards Dragon lane because we have 18 seconds left for Dragon and we have no pressure there. So either I make them back and get Dragon or I kill them. Thankfully, I do manage to kill them. Look at how much damage those stars are doing. So I'm ignoring Seraphine because Jinx is almost dead. Seraphine is almost dead as well. Alistar ignores her to make sure I get the kill. Really nice guy. And with that, that is a free Dragon. About 25 seconds later, we managed to secure the dragon. Jax did not actually come to assist us, which was really unfortunate. Once I recall, I purchased myself my Rift Maker and I start building the Rylai's I was talking about earlier. So as of right now, you don't see that, but I have Rod of Ages fully maxed out. I have an Infinity Orb for extra damage when people are low on health, and now a Rift Maker. Rift Maker because I like to be in the middle of a fight. It stacks as a passive really, really fast, and I get Omnivamp, so it means I heal really fast. With this 5v5, it's really important to have that. So I am walking in with my stun. Ashe uses her ultimate on Seraphine as well. With my ultimate, we take care of Seraphine. Vi, as of right now, only has armor, so my magic damage is completely piercing through her. With Riftmaker and Infinity Orb, my magic penetration is just shredding through Nasus's Spirit Visage. My stun managed to take care of Nasus. I'm using my stars to make sure I take care of Vi and Zed. While they're running away, my stars take care of Vi, they kill Zed. Alistar gets in the way of Jinx because she drops her traps here. I go right where Alistar walks, so I make sure I don't get trapped either. I activate my stars once again, and I secure that pentakill. We'll watch it in real time just to see how fluid that was. So this is my first time playing Aurelion Sol. I got a pentakill. I don't know what that means. That is super awesome, super hype. Just, the perfect storm situation happened, and we took the most out of it. That is also the second pentakill of this series. That is amazing, both in the A's. Once I recalled, I did buy my Rylai's Crystal Scepter. You can see that when I do use magic abilities or my passive hits the Krugs, that they turn a little blue, which means that they got slowed. That's another awesome animation that you may or may not notice while you play the game. Just like I was talking about Ashe and Janna with their little gusts in her feet to show that Janna's passive is active, the blue color change indicates that they are actually being impacted by Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Alistar and I do quick work of Seraphine. Again, with my magic penetration, even if Nasus has Spirit Visage, it just is not enough to go past me. But again, I do feel like sometimes magic penetration is a little overtuned compared to magic resist. Here I'm trying to do a little sneaky snipe. I did manage to hit him with my ultimate, but he managed to survive. Alright, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Jax 0-2 compared to their Vi 1-2. Ashe 3-5 compared to the Jinx 5-4. Myself 16-3 to Zed's 5-6. Camille 0-2 to Nasus's 2-2. And Alistar 2-2 to Seraphine's 1-7. So, it looks like another game where you gotta do the right things and kind of carry the game. When Nasus survived, I took their blue buff and I decided to buy myself a Stasis enchantment. Jinx, a little overexposed, and with Aurelion Sol, I can just catch up to her super fast, and there she is. She used her immune, but again, Rylai's Crystal Scepter is a consistent slow, so it's not going to do much. I use my flash, and look at these stars, just doing so much damage. It's terrifying. With a game like this, I'm so glad I decided to get the rune called Hunter Genius, where I get massive cooldowns. It's hilarious how often I can use my second ability and my first ability, where I can open up my stars. And I did learn recently, in the middle of the game, that when you turn off your extending stars earlier, you get a speed boost. So, learning as we go. And this is just where Aurelion Sol excels. Zoning away the minions from the turret, but also doing so much damage to the enemy champions. Ashe and Alistar have come to support me. Alistar missed his combination. Ashe got the ult off. I'm using my third ability to catch up to Nasus. I am missing my slows, so I slow down, wait for Nasus to walk into my stars. Alistar missed his combination once more, but look at the mana. I am not wasting any mana. I'm not wasting any cooldowns. It's a 2-second cooldown. That is insane. 6 seconds for a stun, 2-second cooldown on the star extensions. It's bananas. So he has tiny, tiny cooldowns. And Hunter Genius is just a fantastic rune to take with this guy. Zed decides to chest me. And just look how much damage. He's just getting shredded. And here is a nice flash calculation. And we managed to secure him once more. This turret is free for us to take. Alright, macro decision time. You can see that 4 enemies are dead. Seraphine is in the middle lane. Would you recall and go for dragon or take this turret? Right? The question is ultimately answered by your own decisions, but this turret is free because the only defender is Seraphine and she was in middle lane. So either we take dragon, or we take the turret, or we take both. I make sure Seraphine dies because I saw her walking towards me. That was just map awareness there. And I can just get away because my second ability again is on a 2-second cooldown, so I am just zoom in. I'm not sure why my team didn't go for dragon. It was free for them. Ashe just walked right into Naxxus, but to each their own. I just can't believe I'm 20-3, so I'm going to go ahead and 1v1 this dragon. Space Dragon versus Fire Dragon. Let's see who wins. After getting it at 1 HP, Jax decides to come through and, smite them. It's fine. At least they helped this time. That's improvement. Once I recall, I see Ashe is completely overextended. Vi is chasing her. Jinx is chasing her. We need to save her life. You see Alistar coming to save him, and maybe this wasn't the smart decision, but it paid off in the end. I use my third ability and first ability right to do the stun. Jinx is just popping off. Ashe unfortunately died. I flashed to make sure Jinx dies. I killed her in air. That was a snipe. That was pretty lucky. Here we go for Seraphine and Naxxus. With my stars, I'm hitting both of them. Absolutely bananas. But here is a good decision, right? So Naxxus flashed away. I'm not going to chase him, and I'd rather go for Seraphine because it's easier to chase Seraphine over Naxxus because Naxxus has that slow, and he's just so tanky. And if we get into a team fight, I'd rather take care of their Enchanter versus their tank because I can zone the tank out. I can't zone out Seraphine. If she gets a good ult, that kind of ends the game, With my whole team in middle lane, we are all sieging the turret, which is fantastic, right? At the end of the day, if we are working together, we'll win. Regardless of the KDA, right? Like Jax has 3 kill assists and Camille has 2 kill assists out of 30 kills. It's not the best, but they were doing stuff around the map, so their presence was known. So remember, it's not all about KDA. It doesn't matter, right? The way you're gonna win the game is by destroying the Nexus, and they were taking turrets. They were keeping the enemy busy. Like right here, look how much damage they're soaking up for me. I'm in the middle of the fight, but Jax and Camille are just soaking up every single ability, so I am free to do damage. That's exactly what you want them to do. So mad respect for both Camille and Jax for taking care of this, and that way we can win the game. Both Nessus and Zeta with 1 HP. I get the funniest double click here. I turn on my ability and they both walk into my stars. Like right here. Bonk. It was kind of funny. I didn't expect it to happen, but it happened. I had to run away from the fight, so I went to the jungle to recall, but by the time I recalled, Alistar took care of the Nexus, so we got a victory. Fun game, super great. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop down in the comments below. Thank you again for joining me on this journey of going from A through Z. It's been fun so far. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Talk to you all soon. And I want to say thank you all for watching these videos and just joining me for a fun time. I do know that my streams are a little funky. I'm trying to get that fixed. I think I figured it out, and hopefully this Friday, November 11th or whatever, we have a much better stream than usual. And if not, then we'll keep figuring it out. Thank you all again.